A very good morning. A very good morning on the today's webinar. The theme of the webinar, as you already aware, all the participants, mainly the students of the IT department of MCKV Institute of Engineering, as this program is being hosted jointly in collaboration with the ConsoleLog and the team IT department of MCKV Institute of Engineering. And the program of this session or the webinar is based on the full web development roadmap. Being a technical guy, we know development comes whatever in engineering or any every aspect, it requires the dedication and determination. And dedication and determination leads with some roadmap. Whenever it transforms to technological aspect, that is for the full web, because now it is the need of the hour, it is the demand, and not only for the need of the hour. Web development is such a platform that throughout the life career, throughout the academic or professional development, it requires. So it is our privilege that today Mr. Abhishek Bose, the product manager of the ConsoleLog team or the company, will agree to deliver with association with Mr. Devabroto Chakraborty, and the whole event from that end, they will monitor, they will organize, they will collaborate. And from our end, myself, Professor Orijit Sarkar, the convener of this program, and Dr. Shampa Sengupta Madam, the senior faculty member of the IT department and who is the organizing secretary of this event. We are thankfully acknowledged to Dr. Sengupta, that means Professor Dr. Shampa Sengupta Madam, that tremendously he has exerting her effort for coordinating with the industry academia, not only in the present stage but in the previous years also. It is a her landmark for achieving the department in a milestone. We are acknowledged for that on behalf of the department, on behalf of the webinar team, on behalf of the program of this particular day. And 26th February is a very much important day for other aspects also. That is not relevant to this program, but I will just share one thing, that in Ramakrishna movement, the 26th February has an significance. I will just mention that in this respect. And my dear participants, that we are in a fashion after the new normal situation that we have to work for the 24/7. That's why Saturday we have organized, in spite of your academic schedule, without hampering this academic schedule, we have organized this webinar, and be patient with the next 1.5 hours journey with the team. It is the prestige of the department, it is the knowledge gaining for the department, and at the end run you will be benefited, because the world is now open to us. You have to grab the challenge, you have to grab the situation, and for that aspect Mr. Bose is there. Actually, he is the product manager, so he is dealing all the tidbits of the technology. With this, I formally welcome Mr. Devabroto Chakraborty along with Mr. Abhishek Bose and my dear participants, that students of the IT department, for attending the webinar. And my request from our side, that don't do anything, as because it is online mode. Don't do any misbehavior, malfunctioning, so that the prestige of the NBA accredited IT department will focus in other aspects in the society. Dr. Sengupta, if you want to mention, you can. Professor Dr. Sengupta Madam,
Okay,
if you want to.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for such kind of introduction for this webinar. Now we are already running behind the time because it was scheduled at 11. Okay, so I won't say any other thing, but whatever you have mentioned, it is perfectly all right. Hope Mr. Bo should focus why website development is important and what are the necessary skill set that you should have to become a web developer. Okay, hope it would be discussed in the session. With these words, I am handing over the session to Mr. Abhishek Bose. Sir, please, you start the session.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sengupta. Okay, so welcome all formally from ConsoleLog team. So what we are actually, like a ConsoleLog, like we are already seeing, like based on 2019, 2020, when that COVID actually hit. So like 60% unemployment is there after having like so many engineers, so many doctors, but still we know like all the engineer can't place in India. So maximum our actual strength actually going beyond India because lack of our growth in India. So we are actually focusing in making India throughout all the engineering and medical and all the management peoples. So we are mainly focused on technology as a ConsoleLog. We are the organization where we actually provide, because I guess you guys already know other institute names who actually created like, like those 10 or 10 plus 2 over there when they are joining some like IIT, West Bengal G, they are actually creating their resources in a such a way so that they can place in a very well manner. The same way that unemployment gap when you are completing your engineering or MBA or BBA, so that gap we are actually mitigating over here. And parallelly, we are actually mainly focused on AI and blockchain technology. So no matter that is AI, no matter that is a blockchain, but ultimately the backbone of every technology that is web development, because without browser, without any website that is like a user interface, user can't interact. So that's why we choose in the help of like Rajesh Sarkar and Shampa Sengupta and Devabrata Chakraborty requested, like let's focus on this web development seminar or webinar. So we are here. So let me share my screen so that we can start. So all of you, I need to engage the throughout the session, whoever joined. I can see right now 38 participants joined, including me. So if you guys can hear me, so just write in chat like yes, or just hits a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you, Arindam. Okay, thank you, Tushram, Avani. Yeah, thank you, Raj, Ananda. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So let it much like as much as possible interactive and engagement, because it will feel good, because otherwise, as you can see, like always I believe like audio visual mode, because until and unless you are seeing me, my posture and gesture, obviously that that touch what I am saying, that will not going to connect in your actually mind and heart. So that's why I always be open throughout the session. If you guys need to open your cam, you can always allow, and that will be really good. Okay, let's start then. Can you guys see my screen? Anyone can unmute and say like yes, no, it's
Yes, sir.
perfectly okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so let's start. Let's go back some about web development historical part. So maybe you know, maybe you don't know. So let's start from there only. 1994, okay, when first Web 1.0 actually invented, okay. Then from 2004, the Web 2.0 is actually came in the market. From 2004, you can expect like 2002, where we are right now, is actually going on Web 2.0. But slightly you can say it's already started the era of Web 3.0 as well. So what is the difference between in Web 1.0? Every website, whoever, like any organization or a company they are launching, all the website are only read-only mode. Now you can ask, what is read-only mode? Uh, okay, thank you. So what is read-only mode basically? Like you can expect this is all the users, whoever is having those browser, okay, and there is a server. Okay, suppose this is a server. This server is basically running behind of those organization and company. They are uploading their data. Those data, the user only can visualize. They can't interact. So that point of time from 1994 to 2004 is basically internet or web 1.0 is just sharing information. Okay. Then in that market actually came Facebook, Google, now YouTube, you all know. They changed the whole market. They given the opportunity to read and write mode, both the mode. And still nowadays also we are too much dependent on FB, Google, YouTube, like LinkedIn, every social media network. So this transformation happened because whenever something invented, it's invented to solve some problem. So the problem is in Web 1.0, there is no write mode, but here read and write both is there. So now what will happen? So instead of one way, now it will be, it's like a two-way, correct? Now slowly, right now we are entering in Web 3.0. What you all know, like blockchain. At least you guys heard this term blockchain or very famous thing like Bitcoin. So in Web 3.0, what problem we are actually resolving? Because here we know from 1.0 to 2.0, we resolved that, like, interactive part problem. Now, watch which problem we are resolving in Web 3.0. In Web 3.0, we are basically resolving the main thing is privacy issue. Now you can ask, what is privacy? So before that, let's jump to this topic. Like again, FB, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn, all are free, correct? I guess you guys are using some of these websites. Anyone can unmute and say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So why they are giving you free? And how their business is actually generating revenue?
Sir, they are feeding our data to enhance their algorithm.
Absolutely correct, Durgesh. So what they are doing, they are generating their revenue through ads. Whatever the browser we are right now using, like Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Chrome, whatever. So every browser is actually capturing somehow your privacy, your movementical data. Those data is somehow they are using to generate the ads based on your like and dislike. And multiple companies are actually feeding those huge volume of money to these companies so that they can run these ads. The second problem, hackers. Anyone know like what is hacking?
The hacking is like it's like to penetrating a system without knowledge, like backdooring.
Correct. So you can assume like this is you are accessing through a browser. So this is your browser in front of your screen. Okay. So somehow some server and database is there. Okay. From where that server, like those websites are running. So you are sending some data. Here, that middleman is there. Okay. Who is changing your data or capturing your data? Okay. With a very layman language. So this problem, what is the solution? Solution is basically blockchain. What is blockchain? Because over here, what is happening? Users are directly interacting with the servers, and the server can be one or multiple. Okay, so that we will come when we will discuss about the full roadmap of web development. But what is blockchain over here? Blockchain is basically a P2P network, like peer-to-peer network or you can say a decentralized network. This one is basically a centralized network because whatever the technology previously invented, you can see here is a one server or multiple server in a same line, correct? And every user is accessing those server only. Same thing is there in 2.0 as well. The same way they are also dealing. But in P2P or decentralized, what is happening over here? Okay, let me draw it first, then I'm telling. So just think, this is all the users, whoever is using this web 3.0, okay? How they are resolving? Previously, everyone is accessing this, correct, as a centralized. Now, what is decentralized? Just create this line like this. So instead of data in a single place, now data is basically distributed to everyone's, like a replica or copy of the database. And what is P2P? Why we are saying again P2P, peer-to-peer? Who are those peers? This each user, whoever is there in that particular network, those called peers. Now, if any hackers are coming to hack your data, what will going to happen? They will change a single database, maybe this one. Maybe just think this data, they are changing. But whoever in that network, other users or peers, they at that point of time saying, your data is changed, but that is not look like which data we are actually holding in the network. So that's mean something happened. So roll back that part, roll back that transaction. So hackers somehow change the data, but as voting mechanism is there, somehow they are again roll back in the previous position. That's why this web 3.0 is that much of secure place to run, or you can say like all the problems like this web 1.0, web 2.0, every problem are resolving with 3.0. Now you can ask, who is basically creating this network? What you just said. This network is basically, any of you heard this term, Ethereum? Ethereum network?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you just share with us, like what is Ethereum?
So I wholly don't know the concept of it, but I heard it.
Okay, okay, cool. Anyone else heard about Ethereum? Okay, fine. So what is Ethereum or Bitcoin? They all are this sort of network. And this is a public network. So maybe you heard about Bitcoin mining, correct? Because as I just said, like this transaction someone changed and others peers are saying, no, this is a wrong transaction, correct? Or they can say, yes, this is a correct transaction, go forward it. So when they are saying correct transaction, so that's mean they are mining, they are validating. Okay. Everyone understand? Can I get a yes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So up to this is clear, correct? To everyone, you can unmute and say.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so let me create another page. Now I'm coming. maybe you guys are right now thinking like Web 2.0, like we all know how it's work because we are using daily to daily basis, but we don't know about Web 3.0. So some of us are saying like this is just a hype. Some of us are saying this is just a bubble. Means it can be going to, we will going to welcome this technology in our world or not, in that dilemma only. But that's true. Like Indian government, if you know, like they are also actually creating their own coin to, successfully implement blockchain technology in our world. So let's start like what will be the roadmap first. So if I'm saying Web 2.0, without Web 2.0, you can't implement Web 3.0. So the path. So there is a things like called front end. There is another thing is called back end. So in the front end, the very famous thing, like without those three technology, front end is totally incomplete. Those are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In the back end, you can use easily PHP, C++, Python, again JS, or normal Java. There are so many things out there. But without these three, you can't develop front end. Now, some of you know, like, yes, through PHP, we can create some kind of website, maybe. Okay, or maybe you heard using Python, easily we can create some front end, or through Java also, like through applet, correct? We can create. But no matter what technology in backend you are using to create that front end, your browser, okay, where all the websites are actually coming, correct? Those browser engine only understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that's mean that conversion is basically happening. So obviously when I'm saying conversion, or maybe in your college only you saw, like whenever you are writing any code to C, C++, or Java, you have to compile, correct? There are some compiler, there are some interpreter for Java. So when you are compiling, that compiling time also matter, correct? And in this world, we need everything so fast. We can't wait. You just think like you are like watching any YouTube video and somehow it's buffering. It's loading and loading and loading. First, you will check with your ISP provider, like your internet is slow or not, your router is working properly or not, correct? Can I get yes or no? Like you will check,
Yes,
correct? Perfect. So if that is properly happening, then the first thing it will come, oh my God, this YouTube or this channel is so like, slow. The second time you will going to think, I will going to use or not, because you already pay so much money each and every month to get that high speed internet connection. So what's latest thing is actually happening in the market? Latest thing is happening, JS. From this every technology, the winner is basically JS, JavaScript, because if you are writing any code in JavaScript, not like PHP, C++, Python, Java, if you are writing code JavaScript, that point of time, that compilation is actually not required, because every browser actually know what is HTML, what is CSS, what is JavaScript. Let me make it easy in a different way. We all know, like, or believe whenever we saw, if any object or any company is ISO certified, correct? Can I get a yes or no?
yes, sir.
So what is ISO? ISO is an organization who is certifying that whatever the mechanism or process they actually acquire, everything is perfect over there because that's the standard in the market. So they are certifying that standard. The same way, maybe you guys heard this word W3C. So they are basically creating that standard for these browsers, whoever creating the browser, like Google, like Firefox, like Mozilla, that one. Okay, then Bravo, then Edge, then Safari. So every browser is following their standard. And they are saying no matter which technology you are using, you have to convert that thing in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then only you can show this stuff in your browser. Okay, why so? Because for JavaScript, you no need to run any virtual machine. That virtual machine, like we all know, correct? For Java, we have required JVM, Java Virtual Machine. For PHP also, we need a server. For Python also, we need to install first all the Python packages. Then only we can run. But for JS, you can easily directly run any JavaScript command in your browser without installing a single package, because that browser, what you are running, that is by default, I can say V8 engine or Chromium based engine is already installed. So right now, if you want to start writing any JavaScript code, you can easily open your browser, you can go to console and you can write. So up to this clear? What is front end and back end?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the question obviously is coming, what is HTML? What is CSS? What is JavaScript? And which roadmap we will going to follow nowadays in 2020-22? Or going forwards, like what will going to happen if you are learning right now this technology? Can you and market going to be survive next 5 years? Because obviously when you are learning any technology, correct? Obviously you have to think that technology can survive next few years or not. Because if you are going to expert in that particular domain, obviously you can't switch your career within a single month. Because then what will happen, whatever the experience you gather from the market or the domain or from any company in your future, those part will be down. So the probability to increase this market to 2025 or 2026 is like 38% market will going to increase. So there will be no downtime. Now get back again, what is HTML? Suppose you are creating a house, okay? So before you are creating that house, you have to create all the pillars like a backbone or framework. That pillars is basically HTML. But you just created pillars and the walls are there, but you haven't implemented any putty or color or something. Obviously your home will not look like good, correct? And that will be not like a robust one, because due to the weather environment, that will going to break any point of time. So after HTML, when we are putting those colors, okay, design, that is CSS. Now just think, your home is created, okay? The first day you enter in that home, you that created all your money you already put to create that home. Now, until and unless you are actually staying over there, correct? That home is useless. Now, when you started staying over there, Maybe you are creating or putting some, good pictures in that wall, or you are cooking in your kitchen, you are using the washroom. So what is that? You are doing some movement. Those movement is basically JS.
So that means functionality.
Absolutely, that's the functionality. So HTML and CSS are static. That is read only. Now, when you are putting the JS for those functionalities so that you can make it interactive, then we can say this is read-write friendly. Now you can ask, if I'm implementing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so that's mean the website is ready. Yes, your front end is ready. But what about the back end? And what is actually the back end? If this is a sea level, okay, and if this is a glacier of ice, you can visualize up to this part, correct? Only this part. But behind that, this many part of glaciers is already there. So if you are considering this is a front end, this whole thing is back end. Why is that? Let's begin. From JS only, if you are only learning JS like a JavaScript, so few frameworks. Okay, let me come with some framework. React JS, Angular JS, Vue JS, Next JS. These all are front-end framework. Okay. Now let's come to another framework, that is Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB. All these parts are coming as a backend. So can anyone tell me, like FB, Facebook, in between of these four, which framework as a JavaScript they are using? Anyone know?
React.
Yes. Any other option from anyone?
The Angular JS.
Okay. Anyone else? Make it interactive. Come on, guys. You all are IT student, correct? Think. Or maybe Google it right now. Okay, I'm giving another option. Google. What Google are using? Okay. FB is actually created on top of React.js. Google is using AngularJS. React.js and AngularJS is a most promising JavaScript right now. And if you say the future, yes, future, obviously, without these two, nothing is there. But yes, somehow Next.js is winning for a different perspective. It totally depends for which project, which JavaScript framework you need to use. But the question will come, then you need to learn all these JS. Absolutely not. You just learn any of this, and it will going to work. The second question will come, how out I will going to run the React.js, because you only said browser only know the basic of JavaScript, but React.js may be something different. And how that React.js is basically going to communicate with my database. Because until and unless we have any database, correct? How are we going to store the data? Then the solution is coming as a Node.js. So you can treat this like this way, MERN or MEAN. So two well-known full stack development is going on. What is M? M stand for MongoDB. What is E? E stand for Express. What is R? R stand for React. What is N? N stand for Node.js. So you have to use all three the backends and one front end part that you have to know. If you are coming this, same, Mongo, Express, Angular, instead of React, Angular, as I told, you have to learn any of them. And N, Node. So again, Node, you can see MEN are common, only RRA is changing. So what is Node.js? Node.js a server-side framework, JS framework. React.js is front-end based framework. So you can ask me, then what will happen, like you told like about PHP, C++, Python, can't we use that? Yes, you can use this, or .NET, or like Java, like Core Java or J2ME or J2E, not ME because ME is coming like a mobile application that is totally out of topic for this session. So what will happen with this? But again, just think from your mind and ask yourself that question. Do you want to learn multiple languages? Do you want to learn that kind of language what we will not going to use in the future? But why I'm saying C, C++, and Java, what you are learning in your college days or school days, that is required because it's actually creating your backbone for programming, logical sense, and everything. But when you are working in the market or any domain, that point of time you can skip all these things if until unless is too much required, and you just focus on JS. And if you see all the frameworks like front end and back end or server side, all the things are based on JS only. So if you are learning JS as a JavaScript, it will create your career in such a way so that you can move anywhere in between this technology. Now, how it will work? So what happened? Suppose if this is you, correct? You are opening a browser. So browser is basically hitting to a DNS. Okay. Now you can ask what is DNS? It's a bit technical. This is domain name server. Because when you are opening Google, until and unless you are writing in that address bar www.google.com, it will not going to open. Or if you want to open Facebook, you have to give that address. So that domain name is basically resolving via this DNS. So this DNS is helping you to reach that particular domain server. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Because everyone houses also have some address. When you are asking like where you are staying, if I'm saying suppose like Kolkata, that's not make any sense because Kolkata is a very big place. If I'm saying a particular location, my home address, then maybe you can easily reach. The same thing over here. This DNS is basically resolving that address in the whole world wide wide. Sorry, World Wide Wide, www. So you are opening the browser, you are writing or giving the domain name, DNS resolving and connected to server. Now in that server, now there are two kind of server is there. One is app server, another one is DB server. Now in that app server, you are running your Node.js and Express.js. And here you are running your MongoDB. That is NoSQL database. If you want to use MySQL, then we call this is like a SQL. So again, this is another topic. What is the difference between SQL and NoSQL? These are two type of data how we can store. Now, Node.js and Express.js, where we will going to use this thing, we will going to use to communicate with this database, any database. Express.js is specially used for API creation. So you can ask, what is API? Means how it will going to help? Just think, this is your Node.js, this is the DB, correct? You are directly accessing through Node.js your DB and you are collecting the data. And in the front end, you are running maybe React.js. Now React.js don't know how to collect this data from DB. So here, this bridge from front end to the back end, this bridge is actually mitigating by API. Or you can say very specific REST API right now. Or there are certain other technology that is webhook. No need to deep dive right now because what is REST API, what is webhook, it's like a whole topic, separate topic. But the bridge that is creating to mitigate the front end to back end connection issue, that is via REST API. And this REST API or webhook that you can create through Express.js. And Node.js, if I say this is the Node.js is the backbone of your front end, your REST API, and through Node.js, you are connecting to the DB. That's why, again, if I'm coming, MERN, see, MongoDB, this is your database. Express.js, who is mitigating this bridge issue? React.js, that is your front end. Node.js, that is the whole centralized thing who is managing your backend, front end, bridge, everything. Clear up to this? Okay, before we shift to the next topic, I stopped my sharing screen. So I need everyone sides yes, so that we can understand everybody is here and everyone is understood what till now we discussed and what is MERN. Can everyone unmute once?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Priti, Dhiraj, Soumitra, Ankesh, Ria, Tiyasha, Ujjal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I got one question from Aditya. Sir, can you tell me what is server? Yeah, server is the backend, like when you are hitting a domain name like www.google.com, that domain name is resolving by DNS, correct? Now that DNS is actually connecting to that server. so that that content, what you created through Node.js or your MongoDB database or MySQL database, those data is managing by that particular server. Now server, that is two part in a very layman. One is application server, another one is database server. Database server, that is your MongoDB. Application server, that is your Node.js. Okay. Now you can ask me, like, if I'm installing directly Node.js, then can I launch a website or can I do some web development? Obviously not. That's you are creating to create your own development, like you are testing from your local machine maybe. Now to available in the publicly in the worldwide, you have to host somewhere, because your machine is not a server machine, because that is maybe desktop, maybe laptop. Maybe you have only have like 4 GB, 8 GB or 12 GB or 16 GB RAM. Correct? But we need a good amount of server, like a huge CPU and RAM, so that you can serve the traffic. Because you maybe saw sometime what happened, like whenever you are opening some website, due to the heavy traffic, the site is slow. If you are running from your machine, obviously you can manage that. Then you have to open your machine, maybe you have to install another RAM, another CPU, correct? Then only you can implement. But server, in a very layman language, there is something is there, okay? Based on the request, you can upgrade your configuration or you can downgrade your configuration. You no need to manage manually everything. And it's part of cloud management. Yeah, who is this? Okay, let me see. Another question I got from, okay, Viprasham Mojumdar, sir. Yeah, please ask Viprasham. You can unmute. Let's unmute and ask. Okay, that will be good because it will be interactive. Others can also listen your question because you guys are sharing directly to me. So they can't see in this message chat also.
Sir, I was asking that, let's say I want to build a website in which, let's say there's a pen drive in Amazon, which is 1000 rupees. And that same pen drive in Flipkart, it's 950, and in Meesho, it's 980. I want to give the user the advantage of seeing that which one is the cheapest, and that he can buy that. But if a normal user does that, he have to visit every single website to see that what is what he want to, what is best for his budget. So sir, can I do that? I can give every what to say, every that price in a list and then show it using REST API. Is that possible?
Yeah, it's very much possible. So regarding this, we already have one of our member, okay, from ConsoleLog. So I will request Rahul. Rahul, are you there? Rahul? Jeet?
Yes, I'm here, boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Jeet, you are audible. So do you want to mitigate, or you can like...
Yeah, basically, who asked that question? May I know the name, please?
Yeah, that is
Mujumdar.
Viprasham.
Okay, Viprasam, your question is good. Like, this is called we this kind of website, it's already there. Like, I can't remember the name. This is something is possible. So this is a concept of like affiliate platform. Okay, so whenever like Facebook or Amazon or this type of website, they have the affiliate link, like you can register as an affiliate user, and then you can show the all the products. You can use their REST APIs and all, and you can list down, because you should have the business model as well, right? Whenever you are displaying that product in your website, and if someone is going to buy that product from your website. So you should be benefited at some point, because there is no point if you are building that website just to view, just to show this user and compare these prices and all. So what this basically this type of websites, when they create that, so they have the affiliate links of the all the websites, and they have the, they create those, they use their REST APIs, and using these they list down all the products from the different websites. So when the user visits to your website, so they can buy, and using that product price, you will get some sort of percentage to your account as well. So like this way this happens. So I hope I have mitigated the question what you asked.
Yes, I get the gist.
Okay.
Okay.
Any,
Yeah, boss,
any,
over to you.
yeah, thanks, Jeet. So anyone else want to ask any question? So Srijit Sarkar actually wrote like eBay and Shopify are there. Srijit, you want to share something on top of this?
No, sir. He asked me. The sir tell that about which websites are there on affiliating links on the market. So eBay and Shopify do that thing. In affiliate one, they build that there are many websites from there. They get a shortlisted which is more valuable or which is the most great on review or on price. So from that you can get the money.
Correct. Okay, so Aditya Shaw is asking, sir, what is HTML? Is it a language? Yes, HTML is a language. It's called hypertext markup language. Okay, so again, as I told that W3C, they are standifying something. So if you check, like there are versions like HTML1, HTML2, HTML3, HTML4, HTML5. Okay, so each and every version, they actually introduce some tags, new tags. So using those tags of HTML, you can create or write that HTML language. And as I told, HTML is just like a framework or like a backbone. Okay, you are creating like that. Take again that same example of your house. Those pillars is basically those tags. Okay, raw bricks, when you are creating that wall, that is that HTML. Now on top of that, when you are giving some color, or maybe you want to showcase something maybe in your middle of the website, okay, or particularly in left or particularly in right, some positioning. So that is coming through CSS, that is cascading style sheet, and that functionality, interactivity that you are creating through JavaScript. So Aditya, you are clear? So you can unmute Aditya Shaw. Is Aditya is here? Okay, fine. Yeah, he mentioned is so you are clear, correct? Like what is HTML, Aditya? Okay, awesome. So the next thing is that whatever the thing we just discussed, correct? That's a very basic. Like if you are saying, if I say learn right now HTML, CSS, JavaScript, can I implement a website? Yes, you can, obviously. If you can ask like, can I learn like React.js, correct, Node.js, and if I create and right now deploying somewhere, it will be resolved that issue. Yes, it will resolve. But the problem is, if you are creating that basic thing, Maybe that can be your project, your own project. But if you want to work in the actual market, like this 13 years, what we do or we did actually, then I can say, yes, you have to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or MERN stack parallelly, but that is not sufficient. So the roadmap is you have to start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then you have to shift to MERN, that is MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. Then parallelly, we have to learn and you have to be a really good engineer on system design. Now you can ask me, what is system design? No one want, correct, like their website need to be slow. Now you can say me like, that's not the job of developer. Maybe that's the job of the engineers, like who is managing the server. But trust me, after implementing this cloud computing like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, that is GCP, the scenario in the market is totally changed. Right now, we not require a dedicated engineer who will going to manage the servers. Because if I'm saying very shortly, what is cloud computing? Cloud is basically that server. Now, what is computing? That you can compute through code as well. So somehow, just think, you are creating the website as a web developer, okay? And some code you are writing, what will going to manage the server along with you? Then whenever you are deploying the server, like as Durgesh Gupta asked, what is domain and hosting? So you have to deploy your project somewhere, correct? Okay, take an example. In your final year project, okay, maybe you alone or maybe in a group, you guys have created a project, but you never hand over that project to your department HOD. Then what will happen? How those professor will going to judge you? Because you never shared that. You created, it's working. Maybe apart from that group, you are asking someone else, XYZ, in your college only, that, can you see my website? Is it looks good? So obviously that person is going to ask you, where is that? So you're saying in my machine, but your machine is your private machine. That's not public. Then when you are sharing your development in the outer world as a public, you need a platform. That platform is basically that server or hosting. Now, this way, maybe you guys form like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 groups. Someone else actually came from the outside and they are actually need to check your development. So obviously that is not possible until and unless you are giving some name to that project. Because if everyone is asking web development, show, web development, show. So every project is web development, but you have to give a project name. That project name is basically, in a simplistic view, that's the domain name. So that they can easily access, particularly which web development project they want to see. So first, you have to hand over so that your project will be public. And second, you have to give a meaningful name so that they can easily access. That name is domain. And when you are hand over it to someone else for the public thing, that is that hosting. Okay, so in that chat, Jeet also shared a very technical things over there about that hosting and that server that you can also refer that one. So Who is Jeet? Let me introduce Jeet, Arindam, and I know Rahul joined, but somehow Rahul, I guess, missed. Rahul, you are there? Yeah, Rahul is also here. Okay, so this is our ConsoleLog team. So Jeet, Arindam, can you just put on your video? So let me introduce them. Like, who are they? They are already working with me. Okay, they are already having like more than 8 years of experience in this whole world. Okay, how to create. They all are in web development technology and along with Chrome extension technology. Okay, and not only in India, out of India, in USA, whatever the website, few CRM. So those are the other topics. So they already served, they already proved. And right now, like as I told, what is ConsoleLog? ConsoleLog is actually mitigating this gap only, because maybe I will request to Mr. Shorkar and Ms. Sengupta, if you guys are there, can you just unmute once?
Yes, yes. Sir, I am here. Sir, I just want to say you one thing, that our students, these are fourth semester students, okay?
Okay.
Recently, they have learned Python. So if you focus something on Python for the web development framework, what are the different types of web development frameworks are there where Python can be used for developing this kind of websites and all. If you focus on something on that, then they would be benefited. Okay, as they have learned recently.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
So, why I actually asked you two to actually to unmute, like, as you know, like you guys are already, placing your student to other companies and all,
Yes.
correct? So maybe you have a good amount of alumni for that. So,
Yes. We are
can you
having.
share with us like what gap you actually saw, like when someone actually placed and which technology they are actually working, and in our college which technology we are actually learning? So is there any gap?
Yes, sir, because recently we have got the autonomous status. Okay, now we are developing our syllabuses. Okay, now the gap has been reduced a little, but still few gaps are there where we are talking about the React, Node.js, MongoDB and all. We do not have all, we do not include it yet in our syllabus. Few gaps are there because whenever we see some requirements are there from their side, that we need these kind of developers. In that case, our students will take some extra training and internships to learn that type of technologies. Yes, few gaps are still remaining.
True.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So what's my point? Like why I'm asking this question, okay? And why, like suddenly, because we all are placed in the market, we all are working, correct? So what's the requirement actually we generated for ConsoleLog, correct? Because console logs are actually mitigating this particular issue. Because as I told, from web 1 to web 2 or web 2 to web 3, why that is invented? That invented because some problems are there and we require the solution. And we worked with the few companies over there. The requirement actually came like, you give me some basic students, okay, who know the JavaScript, as madam told, like Python. And obviously Python is helpful apart from JavaScript as well, because Python not only serving for JavaScript or like this web development, along with that AI, ML, like machine language. Without Python, that market is totally blank.
Yes,
And
it has a vast APIs. Nowadays,
correct,
every industry is using this Python. Yes.
absolutely. And whoever is right now in this session, like as you have already got my mail, you can check all the URLs are there. We also have like our own YouTube channel where we actually, giving all the session about machine learning, AI, and other stuffs that is totally free. Okay, so in Python, anyone heard that name, Django or Flex?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you tell me the difference between Flex and Django?
No, sir, I haven't used that yet.
Okay. So in basic Python, when suppose you are installing Anaconda whole framework, or maybe you are using Jupyter Notebook, because that is very useful. You can write single line of code, you can test, some output are coming or some errors are coming, you are resolving, then you are jumping to the next line, another line of code you are writing. But ultimately you have to create your that py file, like a Python file, correct? Now, if it's coming to Python web development, then leave about all the JavaScript framework. Okay. But again, what you need to do, you have to create again the same concept, front end, back end, and that is mitigating through that API. Now, obviously from the front end, you have to have like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. But in the back end, yes, you can use the Django framework, or you can use Flex framework. That can be served as, like we already discussed, right? Like Node.js and React.js. The same thing over there, like Django and Flex. Now, what will be the benefit? Suppose you were learned JS, suppose you learned Python, correct? It's totally up to you. Now, if you can ask me, can I learn both the thing? The answer will be yes. Why so? Because Python is a server-side language. Multiple modules and packages are there. No matter which project you are building, you can use Python, because that is very much quick and compute friendly. Why machine learning and AI acquire Python? And most favorite one, because its computational power is super fast. So now just think, in some cases, your CPU intensive work is there. CPU intensive work means, suppose you are trying to print lakhs of names. Example, a very like a small example, lakhs of name you want to print, and you wrote a for loop over there, obviously, because you will not going to write again and again printf in C, like lakhs of time. Obviously, you're going to use for loop. Now think, instead of lakhs, it may be crore. Then what will happen in that CPU? There will be too much load. Now think, if not only a name, it can be any sort of data. Maybe you are actually dealing with some CSV or Excel file, you are uploading, then you are manipulating those data. In those sort of work where your CPU work is a lot of time, that point of time, Python is really good. But when you are dealing with the front end, as I told, like ultimately, whatever the backend you will going to use, that is going to convert to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Over there, the JavaScript is actually required. But otherwise, the whole path, the roadmap is totally same. I will request Rahul. Can you unmute once?
Yes.
So can you please share your experience, like where you used like Python for your web development?
Yeah, it was actually 2 years ago. We actually had one software named as something related to affiliate platform in our company. So over there, I have helped with the main developer who was working over there. I helped the main developer over there for the Python, and also for like AI and ML languages like chatbots and all those things that I am right now also creating using the Python only, because No, there are no more other technologies which can like handle that much amount of data or processing speed or the coding part also. If you talk about, it is the easiest one to learn among all the others.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Rahul. So, Jeet, can you unmute once?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, Jeet, can you share the experience like where you used Python and why you use Python for the web development? So, have you already using Python?
so right now, right now I'm not using Python, but last time I used like 3 years back in like one web projects was there. So that time like I used with the framework, what I can remember that was in Django framework only. So like in my previous company, so that where I used that. That was like a normal website, like with the like I mean normal e-commerce type website. So that where they have the requirements, but the main problem like we faced, like we went for the other like the thing was the like when we discuss with the clients and all, like the main problem was like they are already having the huge uh, user base and for huge product, so they used to have. So that's why like we chose Python over there like that point of time. So because of these I mean these facilities and all, because we can load all the data like also, and even in the right now in the projects also we are using. So for one websites we are using, and in like it is not only Python, like we are also using with the other JavaScripts and all, but one import thing is there in our like project right now. So they are like maybe millions of like lakhs of data that can be imported. So for this reason, like we have to use Python over there also in our current project that we are working on.
So your practical view is over there, like when you are dealing with the lakhs of data for that computational purpose, what we just discussed. So for that, that computational speed, you are using Python. So Python is helpful for that computational part, correct? And
Yes.
from the front end, what you are using?
Front end, I'm using like we are using React JS for that, for the
Okay.
framework as a framework.
So is there any problem you faced like when you are using React.js, that is JS and that is Python? So
No,
how
no,
you are?
because this is something different. Because in Python, like as we are just from React, we are just uploading that file like that basically the import data is getting. I mean, we are reading from the Excel or CSV. So the data we will be uploading from, we are uploading from the React.js, like this entire file. And once the file gets uploaded in the server, then our actual things come into the scenario. So that is why this is something entirely front end is taken care by the React framework only, but the backend for this thing only, this model only, that is that is taken care by the Python only. So the computational things and all, because there are not only like only uploading, there are several calculations are also going on while uploading. So that is why like this speed and the power of Python we require. So that is why we are using for that.
So if I'm trying to map from front to back, because as this is a whole web development, so in front you are using React.js, correct?
Right.
Now, when you are capturing that data from your browser, obviously you are using JS. Now, once you
Right.
capture data like a CSV or XLS file, so that file, those data, you are actually computing through Python and you are storing database. Now, once that computational things are done and you store in your database, then again you are back to Node.js so that API Express.js you can create through your
Correct.
React,
Correct.
right? So
Like
when you
only we have taken care by the like these computational things. Only the computational things are going happening through the Python only, but rest of the things that is happening from the JS to JS, like front end in the React JS and other backend things from the Node JS only. This is happening. But these millions and trillions of data, this is getting taken care by the Python only.
okay. So anyone in this room, okay, having any question like what we just discussed, because why I actually called Rahul Ji to share their experience because they are actually working in the market. Okay. As I told, like based on the scenario, we have to shift our technology because nothing is perfect. Everything is have some pros and cons. So it's totally matter like how we are actually dealing with that particular problem. Correct. Now for web development, correct, you can go with JS, you can go with Python, or you can combine that like maybe Python as a backend, as these two folks already shared like how that is powerful and computational friendly. And maybe in the front end you are using JS because that is lightweight and browser friendly, no compilation actually required. So now it's totally depends in which domain, which use case, which problem you are actually trying to resolve. So any question up to this from anyone? Don't just write in that chat. Okay, it will be always good if you can unmute and just ask, make it like more interactive.
So which one will be more better, more efficient for a programmer to use, like the programming languages like Python, Java, or it will be like basics like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, those? Which will be more efficient for the programmer to use it? Like if I want to use that, which will be easier for me to do it?
Okay, so basically you are asking about the learning curve, like when you are learning about so many languages, so which will be a good one. So the good one is both like JavaScript along with Python. Why so? Because both are high level language. Okay. And like when we will actually going to choose a language, like this language we should going to learn or not, how you are going to judge? The main judging factor is you have to search, okay, like how much community is there. Like whenever you are facing any like problem, how many blogs are there in the internet, okay, then how many user right now is using that technology or language, so that if you are facing that issue, maybe someone else already faced, so can you get that help from there or not? So based on that, what we actually saw last few years, JavaScript, Python is the topmost favorite language apart from any other language. Why? Again, Python is free, Java is free. Secondly, Java or JavaScript, not Java actually, JavaScript is specially like lots of modules or packages, or you can say library, because you know like what is library, like C++, maybe you already used. So over there you saw like you are including some libraries that is helping to, you know, execute some function which we call predefined function. So those kind of libraries are already there for JavaScript. If you check npm node package manager, so that's a whole package. And same thing for Python. You all know like that py library is already there. So through that you can easily consume some packages and you can use those functions. So the ultimate target, how quickly you can be productive, you can develop something. Because if that is not there, so then you can obviously create a web developer like through C++ only. But that is not a friendly way because libraries are not there, lots of difficulties are there. That's why those new languages are came in the market. Correct? Otherwise, there is a no need. So first, community that you have to check. Second, library, how many libraries are available that you need to check. And third, how market is going, correct? How the world is actually revolving, that you need to check. Now, why we are actually conducting this seminar? So that you can understand the roadmap totally. These guys like Rahul, Arindam Ji, they actually shared their experience with you. And what ConsoleLog we are actually doing the same thing, like what right now we did, like for half an hour, not half an hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. The same thing in ConsoleLog, we are actually going to do a whole year with you before you placed anywhere else. Like every day, we will going to, teach you like how the market is actually going on. Okay. Then, okay. How many of you have GitHub? Because everyone is in.
Sami.
Okay. Viproswamy have GitHub. Anyone else? I really like Viproswamy. You are too much active in this whole conversation. Thank you so much. Shantan Paul is saying yes. Anyone else? No one. Cool. Now, what is Git and GitHub? This is another part of this web development only. Why I'm saying this one, you will going to understand. Because suppose you created your CV, correct? You are in the 4th year. Maybe from your college, you all are placed. That's really good. Perfect. Now I'm saying maybe you are not placed. It can happen, correct? Because we all know, because I'm not telling like any college is good or bad, but why I'm telling this one, because we all know right now the world condition, like how Russia and Ukraine, they are actually created that word, how economy is changing. It can happen in a worst case scenario. So that point of time, why this GitHub is your ultimate tool as an engineer? Because when some CVs are coming in my own organization, okay, or where Rahul, Jeet, and Arindam, they are actually working. So when as a fresher, your CV actually came to us, first thing we will going to check what are those tools or language you know as a fresher, correct? Second thing, obviously the question will going to come, he is a fresher or she is a fresher. So that's okay. We will going to, teach them that point of time. But again, they already started their business. So they need someone who knows something better than a normal fresher. If in your CV, there is a one thing written, that is, this is my GitHub profile and these are the project I worked. Then what will happen? That recruiter will going to click on that. They will go over there. They will check what are like how you created that project. Maybe your college final year project only. Because when you are going for that interview, maybe off campus, maybe directly for that company, then you are not carrying your project with you. Or they will not going to ask like install this, then run, showcase me, like how, like what is the thing you build. Maybe they can ask you directly one thing, tell me about your final year project. That's all, done. But if you are creating a GitHub profile and you are uploading your project over there, anyone can see your project, anyone can involve in your project if your interviewer is ready that point of time. Because we all know when you are going for any interview, you have to write something as an open-ended so that interview can ask some question to you. Now, if you are uploading your project over there, you are already showcased. So that's mean before that interview taken, that interviewer is already ready. They know which project you created, what are those questions they need to ask. And it seems like a very promising from your side because you developed something, that effort you are showcasing over there, not only with written a single paragraph, you are already showcasing what you built. Maybe you given some screenshot over there for your project. Maybe you created a small Loom video, LOOM Loom video, where you can create 5 minutes free video of your project and you can upload. Because in your CV, that is hard copy or soft copy, you can't attach that video. But in that GitHub, with free only, you can create a Loom video and you can attach. So this is just like a short tricks what we actually faced. Like, yes, if these things are there in any candidates, no matter fresher or experience, then it will be very easy to judge them and very easy to conduct the interview. So that's why we just shared, like, apart from web development, for your career, this sort of small trick will be very useful. Arindam, can you unmute once?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to share your view? Before that, just introduce once, like your how many years of experience, why actually calling you last, so that they can actually learn from you. So how many experience you have right now?
So I have now 2.5 years plus actually. So
Okay.
I'm from last 2 years I'm working as a MAN developer in my company, and I have developed like C plus project, C plus products. Those are running on market. So that much of experience that I have.
So when you started through MERN, like MERN, MERN JavaScript only, or like after you passed your college, okay, when you start your career, correct? So
No,
we
actually, yeah. When I started that time, and in my college also, like I have learned Python also was there, and I also made one project like attendance system with face recognition. So AI that I developed with Python as my minor project in my college. So when I joined, when I came in this industry, that time I was joined as a backend developer, and I was working in PHP, and that so much popular that time. Popular framework was like CI3. I have worked on that. Then day by day, I switched to JavaScript, then React, then Node, then MongoDB. Like that way, now I am a MAN developer. So this is kind of things happened.
Thank you, Arindam.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ms. Sengupta, do you have any question that where we can actually
No,
help
sir.
you?
I do not have any specific questions. If our students have any question, they can unmute and then they can ask you directly.
Sure. Any point of time.
Thank you, sir, for such a nice organization of the program. And thank you for interacting with us in such a way that effort that you put and your team, definitely, to explain and reinforce the concept to the students, it's really commendable. We are very much satisfied. And of course, it was an excellent session.
Thank you so much. Not only that, like we believe in a ConsoleLog, like this is just a beginning of our relation, correct?
Yes.
So what I will do, like in this chat channel only, our website link, and we have one Facebook group. So that we will going to share. I will request all the students, please come and join over there. Okay. So that group where we actually going to resolve all your question, not like you join
Yes,
this session. That's why.
yes. After the session also, you can ask them through this medium. Okay.
Correct. Absolutely. And that can be any point of time. Like it should not be like you have to join ConsoleLog for those courses and all. If you are not joining also, but still, if you are having any question, technical, any question, you write any point of time, we from ConsoleLog, we will going to help you. Like
Yes,
if you have
it's a great opportunity for them. So students, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, later, you may use this link for put up your questions to them. Okay.
okay, so I am just sharing that group channel over here. So this is our group in that Facebook only, because that's why I asked when you are, fill upping that form, like that Facebook and LinkedIn profile. So you can just join this group, okay, and you can ask your question. And if you check your mail address, we already shared our websites and other thing. Okay, like what are those benefits we are actually offering parallelly. So that thing you can also get from us. And yes, obviously, like not apart, like, that web development or something. Why I discussed about career, why Rahul, Arindam, Jeet, they shared about like their practical experience, because the same feeling you will going to get in that groups only, because over there, we are not like frankly speaking, like Shampa madam, then Arjit said, they are so much knowledgeable person, but I am not that much for sure. But what knowledge I can share, yes, these 13 years, what I learned in that whole industry, those every knowledge we will going to share for these courses. So that's the exact, differentiation path we are creating over there. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any question, please ask, because we are at the last stage of this session.
Sir, is it important for all the students of a computer department to know about this web development? Like personally, I'm more of a software enthusiast, so I like it more than web development. So it's necessary for me to learn that too, because it's needed in software or anything. I
No,
want to know that.
it's absolutely not. But tell me one thing. Just unmute one, Viprasam.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how many software you install in your machine?
So I can count, but it's over 30. Like all programming based things, it will add up to 30.
Correct. Those are basically your code editor, correct? Where you are writing those codes, or maybe you are testing, maybe you are supporting kind of thing for
Yes,
related
sir,
to your.
exactly.
Correct. So have you used like any Facebook application or LinkedIn application where you install something, or used browser?
So I use browsers, and to be honest, I'm not more of a social person. Like I don't have Facebook or Instagram. I only chat in WhatsApp. I'm a simple type of guy.
Okay,
So
perfect. No issue. Have you installed Gmail?
yes,
You
sir.
have. So Gmail you install in your machine, or you used browser?
Same browser.
Okay. So now just think, like if you have to install Gmail application in your machine, in your mobile, maybe in your tab, maybe in any other devices. Correct. So then how many times you have to install the application? Maybe 4 or 5 times in a different devices.
Yes, sir.
So that problem is basically resolving this web development. So you have to just install one browser, and that application you can get from any devices. So no matter you are a software engineer or web developer, ultimately you are an engineer. Correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
So to showcase to the world your invention, you have to be something in web development, because until unless that is your thing is there in the web, you can't share in the world. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So this is the difference.
So
Other
then,
than that,
how should I find that interest to learn this web development? Like I've started basically, I know a basic HTML and CSS, and I've used PHP also, but uh, at last I didn't get that feeling like when I was building up application. Like recently I've built a game, I mean a command line game. It was interesting for me to do, but when it comes to that web development, I don't know, that interest goes somewhere else. So what to do with that, how to get that interest? I want to know that. I mean, I never, when I'm thinking about a program, like I can think of many things to do, like build a game or build an application to prank my friends or anything. But with web application, I don't get that feeling. What to do in that?
Nothing. It's perfectly okay, Prashant. Just think, like you created a game, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can I play this game?
Yes, sir.
How are you going to share with me?
So I can share you using GitHub.
So GitHub means what? Again, web development, correct? Like web platform that you are using.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm saying. You create your game, okay? Whatever the thing you love, but showcase that thing, because that game, that is your backend. Just think, okay? Web for you, that is your front end, where you no need to share to anyone. Got my point? You
Yes, sir.
just upload over there, whoever is required, they will going to install, or they will directly play in that web only. They no need to install in their machine. Because why I need to install? Like you saw, correct? Like multiple games are there that you no need to install. And that is totally like browser based. Some Unity engine and other things are going on, correct?
Yes, sir.
And from that browser only you can easily play. So that's mean what? Like you save lots of spaces in your machine,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Now you already learned in your data structure like time and space complexity.
Yes, sir, exactly.
So if I no need to install that game in my machine, so that's when I'm resolving my time. If
Yes,
I
sir.
need to install that game in my machine, so that's when it requires some space. If you are resolving both the problem, time and space complexity, so that's mean whatever the thing you are building, that will be much more successful.
Yes, sir.
I hope I like what I'm trying to say, you understood, correct?
Yes, I understood.
Perfect.
So
Yeah,
then,
Rahul.
there is something that I want to ask that can I get a domain for free from any website or something? Like basically we have to pay for the domains, but can I get something? There is some website which gives free domains or something to for me to try these things. Like, do you know anything?
Yes, definitely you can do that. Like there are multiple sites are there. Like as Rahul already mentioned, .tk domains are always free, not like .com or something. It will be like .tk. Okay, so those links we will share. You just join those groups in our Facebook. Okay, that over there we will communicate in details. Okay, we can easily share those ideas. And apart from that also that .tk. Okay, like like Wix or some websites are already there,
Yes, sir.
right? So over there also you can create a free subdomain. They will not going to give you domain, obviously free, but subdomain. In that subdomain you can use, or there are called like Heroku. That Heroku you can use, or you can use GitHub pages. So there are multiple way freely you can launch. Or Netlify is there. Multiple things are there.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so as I requested, please join this Facebook group. Okay, so what we just communicate with Biprosham, so anyone can actually, we can discuss over there. Okay, or if you have any question, if you want to directly speak with me, I'm sharing my phone number over here. Also, you can check our website. Okay, so over there also, my phone number is also there. So you can any point of time contact with me. So this is our website address. So any more question from anyone?
I think, sir, no question is there from anybody.
Yeah.
So we can end the session now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
For organizing.